Anyone have any questions for Christa?
You know what? That happened because my hair got caught in the wing nuts on my SPL housing one time, and I had a wave landing on me, and I was holding my housing like this, and I was going, how do I stop this from happening? And so I started flicking it on the top, and then it would just stay like that. If it's too short, it doesn't stay. Like, there's a happy medium for length, conditioner. I could really go into detail on this.
Awesome. Anyone else?
So that would be a breakfast smoothie that always includes bananas. I swear it's why I don't get leg cramps, which is
Bananas?
critical.
Did you
Yes,
say bananas?
bananas. It always has a banana in there somewhere.
Love it. You, sir?
Good question. I think there are days like that. They're usually when I've been up late editing and I need to shoot again the next day for reason X, Y, or Z. And getting through that is just knowing, like, being able to try to give myself enough rest so when I do look at it, I can go, okay, I'm good, I'm 90 to 100%, and I can handle what I'm going out for. And I think a driver, too, is just, man, missing out is really kind of the worst. And so, it's really, that can be a real driver, too, is not wanting to miss something. And that can be problematic as well. I can drive myself crazy with that, but definitely gets me out there. You know what? One camera. No, make that two. That's two. I guess the first, actually, we'll say one, because the first one wasn't technically a loss. I had just started, it was my first season at Pipe, but I wasn't using a leash on my housing yet. Oops. Exactly. Oops. So it was one of the bigger days that I shot, and I had a set explode in front of me, and as I was getting tumbled, the camera got ripped out of my hand, and I was just distraught because I'd rented the lens port at the time. It was for a 70 to 200, and I was going, oh, did I just kill a lens rental? Like, meanwhile, I'm still like getting tumbled to the inside as I'm thinking all of this, and then I come up, and I remember it was Koa Smith. He was on the inside too, and he went, "Are you okay?" And I could just see it so vividly. It was like a light shined down, and I was like, "I lost my camera." And then I saw the light, and I went, "It's there!" And it was just bobbing, and I like managed to swim to it before the next wave swept it away, and no scratches, no nothing. So that was an almost loss. And I'd say the second one was because I was too excited to go shoot, and I screwed up putting my big dome port on my housing, like one of the, like, I think 10-inch domes, and so I screwed up putting it on, and I got out there, and maybe like a little 2-foot wave whacked me, and it just went pink, and it popped off, and I looked at my housing, and I just feel like it was in slow motion, and I saw my bare camera, and I went, I don't think it's gonna work. Like, swam in, and I'm trying to keep the water from going in my housing, and I swear just little like Punisher waves kept coming in and dunking the camera more and more, so it was a loss.
So did it break?
It was done. It was done. I think, I want to say it can be anywhere from like 10 to 15 pounds, depending on the housing. I'm looking for Dom to correct me if I'm wrong, or anybody that shoots in the water. I feel like the film cameras, the filmer ones that look like microwaves on their shoulders, weigh a fair bit more, but yeah, I'd say somewhere in the 10 to 15 pound range. But once you get them in the water, they've got some buoyancy, so that changes things and helps.
Dom has a question.
Oh, hey Dom. Body surfing.
Woo!
Yes.
That was alright.
I love it.
She's saying
10 out of 10. No, I'm not just saying that. You don't just say
you like
that.
shooting body surfing better than surfing?
Do I like shooting body surfing better?
Is that what you were talking about? Or you
No.
prefer?
Form of training.
Oh, form
Favorite
of
form of
training.
training.
Form of training, yes.
Yeah. It's,
Got it.
but shooting body surfing is equally fun because I love getting to do it, and then seeing what other people do on waves is very enjoyable.
She's got a question.
Hello. I'm used to that. So Coast Guard Academy was mostly guys. And so I worked, actually one of my friends from school is in the audience. Hi, Steve. Yeah, we went to school together. I'm very excited to see him tonight. But he was one of the many guys that I went to school with. And I just got used to being around men and working with them, and that became just, it lost its intimidation factor because I was used to it. And then I remember the first time I saw people shooting in the water at Pipe and thinking, I want to do that. I just saw people with cameras. I didn't know if they were men or women. They had cameras and they were shooting out in the water. And going out there, I started at the back of the pack and I worked my way up and tried to be friendly with everyone. And yeah, made my way in it. But I will say having the Coast Guard background helped that be a less intimidating situation for me.
How did you make the transition from Coast Guard? I mean, I don't imagine the Coast Guard just like you walk in and say, I don't want to do this anymore.
So you have to go, at the Coast Guard Academy, it's a 4-year military school, and then you have to do 5 years active duty as your commitment for, like, basically you're paying back your schooling with your time. And I did exactly that. I was in school till 2012, and I finished my 5-year commitment in 2017. And both of my assignments were based out of Honolulu. And with the work hours that I had, that allowed me to kind of, once I really started photography and getting into it, it gave me a financial backer where I didn't have to succeed right away. Like, I could have failures and not get things, and that was okay, which was very helpful in learning. And then on the flip side of that, starting in about 2017, when 2017 came around, I'd done enough photography and part-time work that I was able to start looking at it as more of a full-time job once I finished in the Coast Guard. And I transitioned into that, and I loved it.
Awesome. I want to say a couple of things. One, amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah, great work. To have like Carissa Moore and Jamie O'Brien talking so highly of you. Like, how awesome is that? Like, wow. But whose idea was it for the movie? Was it like, who made the movie? Is it the director in here, or did you make it?
No, I did not make it.
I should have read the credits.
No, you're okay, you're okay. So we've got Bimarian Films, so you've got Keith Malloy, and then Andrew Brett Williams. I've seen his name a million times. Anyways, I digress. And then Brett Williams. And they're a team of 3. And then Connor Trimble, he was the one that brought up really doing a film as well, and like getting it pitched out to Red Bull.
Oh, so it was a Red Bull film.
So yeah, so Connor Trimble had pitched it to them, and it was actually through Red Bull Magnitude. That was the women's event that you saw at the end with all the women and their guns, and it was a big wave competition that they held for a number of years that I shot. And so we submitted it through that, and then it evolved. It took 3 years for this to all come together. And so it was a process.
Can you describe what it is to get caught on the big set holding a camera? Like, I know you were there on this last Eddie, and that was heavy, right? And I can only imagine being the camera over there, you know.
If you start out with small waves, you get used to holding your camera in different situations and how you need to hold it, and when you need to bear hug it, vice when you need to tuck it into your side, and kind of how to move with it. And you have a lot of limited mobility just because you don't have a second arm to swim with. And it's just a matter of building up, like, in surf size with shooting and getting used to that feeling. And I'd say the Eddy was wild because you go down as deep as you possibly can, and somehow it's still not deep enough, and the white water's catching you and tossing you and ripping you around, and then even coming up to the surface through the foam. I had this happen and I learned this that day. You can't come up too fast because sometimes little currents will swirl and pull you back down. So you kind of almost have to wait a beat when you're at the surface before you come up for air, which is, that was an experience in and of itself, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was just...
So you figured out that you stayed out another 3 or 4 hours. You're like, oh, that's how you do it. Question?
Typically, yeah, I would say the worst one I had was from pipe. I was shooting next to a guy, and this was kind of in my early years, and wave came. He ended up swimming. I tried to swim more towards the shoulder, and he ended up tracking right directly in front of me, and I didn't get out of his way soon enough, and he didn't look behind him. So the wave broke, and we tumbled into each other, and he slammed into my left shoulder, and my shoulder dislocated.
Oh man.
But kind of the next part kind of worked out in my favor, because the next wave that came, he started to do the same thing, and we didn't even move. Like, it's so weird sometimes. I feel like we didn't cover any ground or get more inside where it would be less energy when the wave broke again. And so it was, another wave came, it broke, and I had to actually swim deeper towards the peak because of how he was swimming, so he wouldn't tumble into me again. And when that happened, it actually popped my shoulder back into place. I thought I could keep shooting, and I tried to go back out, and then I just felt very out of it. So I got a moment and went in. Amazing. Larry's great. He was a character and just so much energy, and was so genuinely happy to be doing exactly that, which was shooting. And his stories made you feel like you were part of them and you were there. So if I stayed on Oahu and he went to Jaws to shoot a swell, he would replay the best waves of the day with his stories, and it would feel like I was there watching guys get ginormous barrels and seeing them get blown out. I feel like he just was one of those people that you described as someone that hums with energy. And yeah, he was a sneaky mentor too. I didn't realize it until a little bit later on. He'd feed me pieces of advice when we were shooting, oh, shoot in this section because of X, Y, and Z, or shoot on this foil here at sunset. And just, it was little kernels of knowledge that I really appreciate, and I genuinely miss seeing him consistently, because I surfed with him, shot with him, all kinds of things. We'd let each other know when we were going to go shoot. I was very glad I got to have the time that I had with him.
I just want to say something about Larry Haynes really quick for those of you who weren't here on the first day. These a group of men that were talking about Larry, and one of the things they said was that sometimes this huge set would just land on him, but when he was underwater, he'd be filming the whole time, just getting hammered. He'd be whoa, just shooting, the whole experience. And I was yeah. And then they'd also say they'd be out in Tahiti or something, and it was Brian Gilman was saying this. He was on his ski, and he'd be you see where Larry is over there? Do not go there. Don't take me there. And he would he can have it. And the guy was insane. So yeah, the guy must have been a crazy legend. I wasn't close to him, but that's cool you got to know him. Yeah. Who else? We got a couple more, and maybe we'll wrap it up soon.
So who was in the front when I was starting? I would say in front of me, you had Zach Noyle, Brent Gilman, Brian Gilman, John Hook, Kiyoki, they were in front. There's, Larry, Eric Ipple. Those guys were all definitely in front of me. Let's see, Russo was kind of on the tail end of when he really had his heyday and consistent days at Pipe. So a little bit, like, I'd see him sometimes, but I knew who he was, and so like certain guys, if I knew who they were, everybody goes in front of me. And then as guys started to see me and I started coming out for more and more seasons, like, it just, you build relationships with people, and then like it just became like I was more of a regular, and then I earned my spot through just being out there consistently and being respectful too. That was a huge part of it as well. Like I wasn't going, I need to be in front of people, and if anybody told me anything or gave me advice, I tried to take it or follow it too. Eric Ipple was the first person that yelled at me. And I went, oh my gosh, he's treating me like one of the guys. This is amazing. This guy's yelling at me right now? Okay, great. I'm gonna learn from this. And then I also was very embarrassed at the same time. I was like, I'm going in the back now. I didn't mean to sit in front of you. Like, but it was just, yeah. So it was just kind of that mentality that just helps get me in front. I would say, ish. I think, you can, sometimes being in the back of the pack isn't a bad thing, because maybe you sit a little bit more inside and you see the barrel hit the inside more, which can be more dramatic than what you see on the outside. It just depends, especially at Pipe. And then, too, I've gotten a lot of great shots through, I call them honey holes, like the gaps between people, is what I think of them as. And so I would say it's a mixed bag. I think there were a lot of sessions too where I noticed maybe guys weren't out shooting really, really early. So I'd go out and I'd shoot really early so I could be more wherever I wanted to sit and just try out different areas and learn.
I have a question. Do you ever have to Photoshop a head out? You're like, dang it. And I just like, I can Photoshop that dude, or you try not to?
I try not to, but if they don't add to the foreground in some way, or like, sometimes the little like blip of a helmet that's like this high, that's just this black dot, it goes away.
And then,
it doesn't mean that person goes away and I don't want to erase that person. Okay? I just want to be clear here.
Are you first in line now? Or you're like, dude, don't get in Christa's way.
There's a
who's in front row? Is there like
I would say it would probably be one guy I didn't mention was Ryan Craig too, but Brent Beelman, I feel like Ryan and Craig are more up in front, Kiyoki too, and John, those guys are, and then Mike Ito and I usually sit together.
Oh, that's cool. Mike Ito. Yeah, we got a couple more.
You know what, I think there are certain areas of shooting where people will want to use it to save money and for budget purposes, and I think, at least in the outdoor space, companies are still looking for real people doing the real activity by making up a fake AI image, especially if it's a bigger company that can afford trips and shoots in different areas and locations. So I think I don't think it's a terrible tool. It's not all bad and it's not all good. I think there's a happy medium with it. It's the same feeling I have about Instagram or ChatGPT. Like, I think they can be really healthy, good tools, and I think they can also get abused. So I try to give my eyes a break if I can, if I don't have to look at something straight away and pull the image out from a session. I try to just kind of wait a couple days before I look at them so I don't miss something. I find that when I look at something right afterwards, that I miss shots and photos in the batch, so I try to wait. And then, I'm trying to, let's see. What was the rest of the question?
For like 1 day of shooting, how long does it take?
Oh, how long does it take?
I got it, I was listening.
Hey, I was two. So very fair. We have a little brain gap, okay?
All right, so how long does it take to look through a day of shooting?
How many photos?
Yeah, how many shots do you take?
It just depends on how consistent it is. Sometimes I'll come away with, but it's so different than film where you have your 36, or like you do 4 sessions and you only have like a couple hundred. Sometimes I have 2,500 pictures. Sometimes I have 4,000. Like, it
Wow.
really just depends.
Okay, do you just, I'm gonna get the last question.
And it does. It takes a lot of time to go through them.
Do you do, or you do, do you like, or do you like,
Cameras have gotten so fast that there was one sequence that I shot, and I think there were 80 photos in the sequence, and I was like, what do I even do with this? This is a
So
film.
you do-
Like,
you
why
do-
am I not doing
you
video?
yell it from like, he drops in and you're like,
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
love it.
basically the song and dance. But then if someone's going through, for example, a turn, or they're in a barrel, you can, if they're stalling with their hand, you can wait for the frame where their hand just pulls out just a hair, and it's just right there, and their hand's not digging in the way of creating spray.
yeah.
Like, you can get those little, like, split-second moments, too, so there's pros and cons with it. They're definitely just, like with anything, there are pros and cons to it. And the one click, though, when you get the one click right, that's what-
Yeah, that's
I
cool.
do that.
Sometimes you like to do that.
I do.
Just go,
And when you get it, it's
yeah.
so
you're just
satisfying.
like,
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. It was such a pleasure. Thank you everyone for participating. Abby, Pat, Diane, Mark, everybody. Have a great night. You might still be able to get a piece of the band out there. Thank you everybody.